everybody. I just first of all want to thank all of you for subscribing to the channel and for all your support. Next month will be a year that I've been working on this channel, and I know some people are like, "Well, that doesn't seem like that many subscribers." I don't take any of it for granted, and I'm so grateful. So thank you. I also want to say, was I the only one to notice Kiki Wyatt is gonna have a show in October? Shout out to R&B Divas. But I feel like Kiki Wyatt can really give us a show, so I'm kind of looking forward to it. Hopefully I'll review it, but I'll see some more setups or whatever and trailer clips, that kind of thing. All right, so we can start with Letitia and Keith, only because they're short and we can kind of just move on. So Letitia and Keith, Letitia met with Keith. She went to jail, came out. She said they had talked about a post-num, and he talked her. This is me talking. He talked her into believing that the post-num is not for them. She was like, his kisses were yum, and like his cologne and everything. I said, they can have cologne in jail. I learned out a lot about prison and jail. So we find out that Keith has 3 kids. Okay. With 3 different baby mamas. I was like, ooh, that's a lot. That's a lot to marry and automatically take on. But okay, girl. So the baby mama, so her friend calls her while she's in a hotel and says that she's cool with one of the baby mamas. And the baby mama was like, well, where's the marriage license? She doesn't believe they're really married, this, that, and the other. Which kind of gives the implication that she may still have feelings for Keith. And apparently Keith belongs to the streets. Let's just be honest. Based on what she's told us and based on what other people keep saying. Whatever. So she was like, look, we didn't have a traditional marriage, but they got married by proxy. That happens. That's not the first time we've heard about it. Her friend is friends with his baby mama. This was my issue. But called her to tell her what the other chick said. Don't trust no bitch with none of your business. If she told you that, she's telling your business to the other chick too. And let me tell you something, I am not here for it. That is not my kind of shit. I don't trust no bitch like that, and she can keep it moving. All right, so then we're gonna go to Savannah and Jake. We're gonna do shortest stuff, most important. Savannah and Jake. Okay. And I was just like, ugh, get this bananas and pajamas bitch off my screen. So she's meeting one of Jake's friends as she continues to cook up her scheme to get married to Jake. Then she is telling the camera crew that when she is nervous, she just likes to poo. I'm like, girl, what? Why are you sharing that with us? We don't care, and trust me, the camera crew doesn't either. They have a job to do, they got bills to pay, and they do not have time. So she said this guy, Tim, who has been his friend since he was like 10 years old, may have an idea of what Jake did, you know, because the lawyer had told her there may be something he's keeping from you that may have, you know, kept him from getting the commutation for his sentence. So her and Tim meet up at this, might as well be 1973 diner that probably serves cheer wine. And if you don't know what that is, you just don't know what cheer wine is. But I can tell you it makes you go. Anyway. Now, she asked him if he knew what got him started down a bad path. She was like, from what she understands, that those two, Tim and Jake, started out together. And he said he didn't really feel comfortable. He told her, asking the question, when she asked, was Jake the ringleader? Now, he said he needed to go to the bathroom and then smoke a cigarette, but he would be back. All right, going to the bathroom and smoking a cigarette is typically perceived as a time to calm down. All right, whatever you think, that's what it is. Her and Tim met, like I said, at this 1973 diner. He goes, he handles that. He needs to go to the bathroom, smoke a cigarette. He told the producer that he told the producer that he doesn't think he can do it, and he left. He fucking left. She was like, nobody wants to talk to her or tell her anything about Jake, and that worries her. And I was like, yeah, it should. Also, I'm not gonna say but also there could be a number of things that are happening at that very moment. We don't know if Tim is being triggered, if Tim feels like I mean, the bottom line is the cameras aren't for everybody. He may not want to hurt his friend or out his friend in things that he was doing that he didn't get charged on by talking too much. And the bottom line is, Savannah, they don't know you. Girl, this shit is dumb. Let it go. Go find some other fucked up person that I would have married. You'll be alright. Anyway, so Andy and Brittany. Andy, she don't want you. She don't want you. She don't want you. She don't want you. In the Angela Bassett voice that played Katherine Jackson. Okay, she don't want you no more. All right. So then we have Andy is meeting Brittany. Brittany's daughter Gracie for the first time, and Gracie, of course, is the oldest of several children. All right. Now, he's worried about making a good impression on her daughter. But your daughters have deep emotional turmoil they are dealing with, and you're mad at them, but you haven't dealt with that. Sir, get your priorities together. Get your own house in order, okay? Do it right away, for Jesus is coming. All right, so he is saying he can relate to Gracie having, seeing that his kids had an addict mom, because his kids went through the same thing. Now, my thing was like, yeah, you could relate, but it also seems like your children don't think you experience that with them the same way. Just saying. So he's saying he can relate to Gracie having, whatever. He's waiting outside in the rain for Gracie, having, talking out loud about every possible problem she could have. Her car could have broke down. This, that, and the other could have happened. Maybe she doesn't want to come anymore. Maybe she doesn't think this. Maybe she doesn't think that. And I'm just like, shut up. We're talking to that damn camera crew. Okay. So he's waiting outside in the rain. Like I said, she shows up finally. She's actually a very pretty girl, much like his younger daughter. She seems scared, and she agreed to ride with him since it's raining. Honestly, I would be scared too to ride with a complete stranger. But I guess the camera crew makes her think he'll behave, that he won't do anything to her. And she said, honestly, I wasn't expecting Andy. And she didn't go into detail, but I think that meant by the way he looked. The ride is awkward because she's not saying much. But my thing is, she's not saying much, but she's practically raising her 3 siblings alone. And her mother's in jail, and she's only fucking 18. That's a lot of shit on somebody. Now, what do you expect? She doesn't know you. She was still polite. She answered your question, but she didn't have a lot to say. Going to jail to visit somebody, no matter how much you love them, is not fun. They take away your rights when you walk into jail and prison too. Okay, so Gracie, after they leave the prison, is visibly upset, but quiet. There were no issues visibly with Andy and Brittany. He said he went to the bathroom and left them alone, and when he came back, they quit talking like, oh, he's in a room. As soon as they got back to the hotel, Gracie was out, okay? She hopped right in that Chevy, and she was out of here, okay? And I don't blame her. He talks to Brittany after the visit. He said she seemed upset but didn't talk much. And she said she didn't feel comfortable talking about their issues in front of her daughter. Which I get. Brittany seems to have more sense than we're giving her credit for. Or I'm giving her credit for. So I feel like Andy is saying he needs to work on his relationships with his daughters to please Brittany. Not because his daughters called him out and he's like, wow, I really hurt them. Maybe I should examine this thing. And I don't like people like that. In short, Brittany has some other men. This is what I think. And Andy, you are ranked very low in this list of men. And I can tell, according to her and her daughter, and their reactions, you are just a backup plan if other things fall through. Okay? Okay. So, let's get on Jade and Chris. Okay. Jade and Chris, child. So Jade and Jessica are driving back from the visit with the family. Was it me, or did y'all think Chris was going to join them at the picnic? Because she kept making it seem like, oh, he can have exceptions around his religion and his cultural practices. Maybe I misheard it. Maybe I need to quit drinking these Long Islands before I do these things, but oh well. So she says she is wondering what the family will go back and say about her, this and the other. So she gets back to the hotel with her sister Jessica, and she told Chris they had asked her about being a gold digger. And he was like, it's not my fault that I invested my money that I got, and that's not his fault that they didn't do the same thing. He said he doesn't know if his family knows, but everything Jade has is in his name. I said, wait a minute now. Wait, hold on, wait a minute. I would say shout out to Ray J, but I don't like Ray J. So anyway, I said, here we go. I said, here we go. Abuser game 101. For those of you who are not aware, but who want to keep yourself safe and certainly your sister safe. Okay, because there are a few things in my life that even if I hate your guts to the very core, I would never wish upon you. And that is a domestic violence situation. Because women seem to never come out of it. They learn to cope, but it changes them forever. Anyway, so I'm trying to give y'all some game here. So abuser game 101 is take control of the finances, leave the woman in a position feeling like she can't live without you, like survive, then isolate that person from their family, which he's already working on and quite frankly pretty successful at. Then she tells us she knew it was in his name. Jade, I tried with you, baby girl. I tried, but you fucking up. All right, you know it's in his name, but he never threw it back in her face. Now she's wondering if her name should be on the deed. Bitch, if you live there, it should. The fuck? Now, because he's the kind that has the plans to discard her at his will, so she can't fight for nothing and say, hey, this is the house I've been taking care of for years while he was in prison. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I did not know you could hold property in your own name singularly while you were in prison. Like, I thought that's why people gave their husband or wife power of attorney in those situations. But if it's from a reservation, I do know they don't have to follow all American laws, which also is to their detriment because they also don't get the same sort of tax payment service like for schools and education and things like that. All right? Brittany and Keurig. Brittany, I'm scared for you. I really am. I think you're a very young, beautiful woman of color who has the ability to get her life back on track. You made a mistake, but you were very, very young. Okay? And we serve a God of second chances. I don't care if you gay, straight, trans, we are all God's children. Okay? So I'm saying this because I mean it. So EB, who is Kirok's best friend, is following Brittany to see what she is doing. First of all, let me address that and just say that's some bullshit. Okay? If you want to fuck Kirok, EB, fuck him. Okay? But you're a whole ass fucking weirdo. I would have pressed charges against your dumb ass for stalking. How do you have a Mercedes and we don't see you at work? What the fuck do you do? What do you do, bitch? We don't know. Exactly. So as soon as Bree walked in, she apologized to her teacher at the hair school for being late. But she keeps coming in late, apparently. So her teacher said, look, she understands and that she totally understands she has stuff going on outside of school. And she is basically, her teacher says basically everybody has a story. And that's something I always heard growing up. Everybody has a story, and they do. They do. But her teacher was like, she is going to be dismissed from the program if she's late again. And she made that very clear. And I understand the teacher, But I also think the issue is that her teacher is seeing her, this is just me, go around with a whole ass camera crew and feels like, well, as far as I'm concerned, she has another job. We TV. Regardless of how much they get paid, she has another job. She ain't gonna be out in the streets. So she said Kirok and her had a fight. Surprise. And if she has problems with work and school, that's the issue Kirok is gonna have the biggest problem with. And it's going to lead to more not intoxicating, it's going to lead to more fights. All right? So I'm going to tell you right now, this is a toxic relationship. And it's very controlling. And they're both very young. And Brittany, I think you need to take a second to get yourself completely together. I really do. Woman to woman, I really do. And I know what it is to be young and in love with somebody, and you want to believe they love you back, and you've mind fucked yourself into believing they love you back. But it's a classic young woman's mistake. It's a classic woman's mistake, baby girl. Okay? And this is just me. And this toxic relationship is very controlling. But even though I hated the brothers being all up in it for Keurig, they are at least related to him, like, and trying to protect their brother. But EB, bitch, fuck you. You're weird. Something's wrong with you. Like, my thing is, if you want to fuck Keurig, fuck him already. But don't start playing these bullshit games, okay? So Evie shows up to Brittany's job. Who the fuck are you, bitch, to ask anything about school or anything else going on in her life? Who are you? I'll answer, no motherfucking body. Okay, so she's working, going to school, her hair is fly, so I think she'll be a very good hairdresser. And working and going to school is hard, especially in a restaurant. Okay, and I can tell you, because both my brother and my sister worked as waiters in college. You don't get off at a certain time like I did when I was working at Old Navy for years in retail. It's different. All right, and also you depend on tips, so you still have to be kind and helpful in hopes that you'll get a tip. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't, right? This bitch is questioning what she does when she doesn't go to school. What the fuck is it to you, EB? EBET bitch? EBT bitch? Fuck you. All right, EB is one of the worst kind of people because she essentially wants Bree to admit that she's lying. Okay? And wait for her to drop something else she can use against her. Let me tell you, I have never had a homeboy, a homegirl, and damn sure no brother and sisters in my business like that. And I have 4 siblings. We are all 2 years apart. So it ain't like, oh, one was 30 and the other one was 13. We don't have that. We're all 2 years apart. The greatest age gap is 8 years. That's how close we are. Okay, and let me tell you this. Now, if something comes up, they'll have my back. But we are all hard-working people, working class people. That means we have to go to work to get our check, okay? Do what we have to do. But we are some hard-working people. We ain't got time. We ain't got time. We ain't got time, okay? To carry out the bullshit EB is. And am I the only one who noticed she driving a Mercedes Benz? Where do you work, sweetheart? What company do you work for? That you can drive around in this motherfucking luxury car that I can't. I go to work every day to watch this young lady. Get the fuck about my face. All right, anyway, so let's get to Letitia and Keith. Letitia and Keith. Something about y'all makes me think that y'all are the gift that keeps on giving. So Letitia met with Keith and said she talked about, did I talk about the shit? I can't remember. The post-num. Oh, yeah, I already talked about her. So last but not least, Renika and Asante. Renika called Asante to ask him about why bitches are posting their numbers and hearts under his Instagram post, because she didn't bother to look at this shit before she moved from Louisville, Kentucky, where she had a whole ass village to help her raise her children and get on the right pathway. Okay? He said, well, why are you asking me about bitches I don't fuck with? Her friend Ray was like, that's bullshit. He said, well, if she loves me, she'll believe it. Now give me a kiss. So she starts kissing him through the phone. And Ray was like, bitch, are you going to really be that fucking stupid? And the answer is yes, for 600, Alex. Okay? So Renika is excited about picking up her man. My man. Girl, you so dumb. So she says she's staying in a hotel close to the prison for his release tomorrow. She calls him and says, and he tells her, I have some bad news. He says they have a hold on me from charges from another camp. He needs to pay a $3,000 fine to get out. And she asked him, well, what were you charged with? He was like, well, what is it? I mean, a conspiracy to commit a felony. She was like, she is going to have to change her hotel. She's going to have to redo things. And anybody who knows when they move, unless you are super, super rich, that shit takes a hit on your pocket. I moved back to New York and I had sublet my apartment. That shit still takes a hit on your pocket. Hello and good morning. Okay? So, she was like, now I had to change all these things. She was like, how the hell are you in jail and you catching more charges? Good question. But this Negro probably knew before it happened. So she said she spent over $4,000 to move. And she said, who's going to pay the fine? He was like, my mama. I said, nah. He calling his other bitches he been fucking with on Instagram to pay that motherfucking fine. Okay, because mama know he ain't shit. Now, PSA to all women, black women in particular, we are underpaid in general. I don't give a fuck how much education we have. I am speaking to you as a black woman with a PhD in history from UCLA. All right, and we make an average of 63 to 64 cents on the dollar, while white women complain about what is it now? They're 88 cents on the dollar. And we are underpaid in general, and black women specifically. We do not owe it to anybody to stay broke and then help a broke man who typically gets paid more in similar kinds of work. All right, Renika was like, we've been dating for 13 months. Well, bitch, it ain't 13 years. You already know what it is. And she felt like he knew about his paperwork and stuff beforehand, and she got played. Yup. I'm glad you're coming to your senses. Her family, her friends, and her homies all told her black ass before she uprooted her family. He sent her the judge's number. And she got that loud elevator music, but the judge picked up. The judge was actually really nice. And I honestly was like, why would you call a judge? Don't play yourself with him on this show. So shit. I was thinking to myself, is the judge single? Okay, because he has accomplished a great deal. Shout out to our Atlanta hospitality. But that seems somebody you want to go after, Renika. Somebody going to be worth going after. But that's just me. So she asked if she could give the bond on Monday. Will they release him on Monday because she calls the prison again? They said, yeah, it's going to be good. So she did all this work like she was his sister, his brother, his mom, his dad. But she wasn't. And he asked her, why are you so happy? Like, despite him being in the prison for the weekend, Asante expected her to pay his bills. He ain't shit. Then she finally called him ugly and hung up the phone. Girl, move further into the light, Caroline, so you can see that bright tunnel. Renika, I really feel like I'm not going to call you completely dumb yet, because I really think you see this as an opportunity for your rapping career, whether I think it's going to be successful or not. I think you have another goal. So this ain't your only reason in moving to Atlanta. But bitch, you fucking up. You fucking up. But nevertheless, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Please be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you all soon. All right now. Bye bye.